video. Today's video is what if MK. So what if Julia got eliminated instead of MK in season 1 and 2? So let's begin on this theory. So I think this would be interesting. I think someone suggested this to me. I can't remember who it was. So I'm just going to get on to this. So episode 6, I have no reason to believe that Julia is just out. I think the way I'm going to have this work is Julia just doesn't realise MK is spying on confessionals, and because of that she gets voted off. Because the reason that MK got eliminated in the original was because she was spying people in confessionals. So now I think she just gets eliminated. So now we're at the merge, and this is the merge cast. So the only difference is MK is here instead of Julia. And episode 7 is where MK is now with Bowie, and Emma and Chase are still together. So Raj and Wayne still get removed after this challenge, so regardless of who MK tries to get rid of, I think she's going to work with Chase because he's going to see who she manipulate. MK would work under the radar because her entire strategy is like not being noticed as a threat. So Raj and Wayne still got removed from the game. Episode 8 now is a bit different because this is the eating challenge, and we've never seen MK in the eating challenge. So I have to assume that Ripper would win this challenge. Because we don't know how well MK is in the eating challenge. We know Bowie does bad in this challenge, so we know he's not going to win. Millie doesn't, and Priya do okay. Z does the best, and Ripper outranks him. But that's because Julia tricks Z. But I don't know how well Z would be against Ripper, and I assume Ripper would now win this challenge because he was the closest to Julia. So he wins immunity. So MK is going to try and get Bowie out. I feel like Bowie's going to try and get Millie out. And Ripper was going to vote for Millie. I feel like MK would also vote for Millie. So I think Millie's getting eliminated here. Episode 9, I think Bowie is trying to get it's chasing Emma. I think MK would realise that she needs to work in an alliance. So she works with Ripper in like an alliance, and she'd get Z. And she also would probably get Priya. Bowie would now win immunity because he was the closest to Julia, and Julia's not here now. And I don't think MK would do as well as Julia, so I think Bowie wins the challenge. I think because it's Z and Bowie wouldn't have to ask that Priya doesn't have an alliance, and because in this universe Z would only ask them one alliance, they vote for Priya. Because would they vote for Priya or would they rather go for Ripper? I think they go for Ripper because he's won last challenge, he's going to win a lot of the challenges. So I think they actually vote Ripper here. So Priya votes Ripper. Ripper votes Priya. MK, Z, Bowie, Chase would probably go on with that vote to get rid of Ripper. So episode 10 of the original series is where we have to talk about the polls. So I think Z would win immunity because I think MK throws the challenge. Noticing Bowie sees Julia's phone, so I think she would throw to get that phone as well. So I think MK would throw and would tackle Bowie. So they both throw the challenge. So I think Z wins the challenge. And I think they just vote for Chase because I think MK would get Chase eliminated in the same way. So episode 11, I think MK would now do what Julia did in the original, but would do it in a more sneaky way. Because I think she'd do it in a way more devious than Julia. Because I think in some ways MK's more devious than Julia. But in other ways, Julia's more devious than MK. Because the reason I say that is because she did spy on confessionals. Like, I don't think that's something Julia or even Alejandra would do in World Tour. Like, there's so many villains that do things that MK has done that I don't think they would do. But I think MK would be breaking up the Bowie and Emma alliance. I clicked on the wrong people there, but you know what I mean. I think MK now wins this challenge because she was really good in spying on confessional, so she has immunity. So Emma and Bowie vote for each other. Priya votes Emma, but MK would want to keep the drama around. So I feel like she asks Z to vote with them, to vote Emma like normal. So I think Emma's out. Episode 12 is Bowie and Z versus MK and Priya. Now, Bowie originally threw this challenge to get out Julia, but that wouldn't happen in this timeline because he doesn't get anything by throwing the challenge. Because him and Priya wouldn't have that deal. MK would still be flying under the radar, so I think she would do decently well at this. And I think the girls would win it because they got there a lot. I think the guys win it because the reason the guys win is because Bowie was throwing the challenge, so he slowed his team a lot faster than MK and Priya. And I do think Bowie was really good in this challenge, even when he was throwing. So I feel like the guys win, and they vote off MK because they would see her as the biggest threat. I mean, she did fly under the radar, but they would see her as a threat. I mean, she's not as hated as Julia. I think Bowie would get Z to vote Priya. I think they vote MK because they would vote for Priya, because in this timeline, Priya is the biggest threat. And she's won a lot. She's going to win most of the challenges. Bowie would be afraid of facing MK as a strategical threat, but I think he's going to rather take out Priya for being the bigger threat than MK. So MK, Bowie, and Z are in the finale. So MK gets Julia, Bowie gets Emma, and Z gets Chase. So the first all the challengers making their raft, and they have to race across the finish line. I think Bowie wins. So between MK and Z, I think MK could beat Z. And now it's the puking challenge, and I kind of think MK would win, if I'm being honest, because Bowie was awful in this challenge. So I think MK would win. So this is the elimination order, and now we go straight into Total Drama, the reboot season 2. Alright, so in episode 9, Julie and MK try to get each other out, but everyone votes for MK. Now, I don't get that because Julia's made it further last season. Number one. Number two, she's done better in challenges, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But MK's also a strategical threat. And I think Julia gets eliminated because there's more people that's had a vendetta against her. Like, Priya doesn't like Julia. Damien doesn't like Julia in this episode. The Hockey Bros probably don't have a strong opinion, probably doesn't like her very much. And Caleb, he's just not very popular on his team. But he probably doesn't like Julia very much. So, and MK liked Julia, but even then she was willing to vote her off. So I think Julia is out after this challenge. Episode 10 is where we have Circling Drain of the original series. So basically what happens is Caleb is trying to make things right with Priya. And, MK's going to trick them like Julia does, if not more devious. I think she will rig it for the Hockey Bros. And I think MK would win the challenge now because I think she does the best side of Julia. And I think MK wouldn't see any of these people worthy of giving immunity because she doesn't have no lives of Caleb. So I'm thinking that she would give this to Caleb. I'm thinking that she gives. Actually, no, she's going to give it to Damien. So I feel like she gives it to Damien because something tells me that her and Damien would just get along. So I feel like she would give it to Damien because I feel like she would see Damien as the easiest person to beat in the finale. So she gives immunity to Damien, and I think everyone just votes for Caleb because he's going to be a big threat. But I think MK would okay, well, these two don't like each other. The Hockey Bros are really close. I think we should vote for Caleb. So I feel like they would get rid of Caleb here. So Caleb's out. Working K9, I feel like the winner of this challenge is going to be Damien. So I think Damien wins immunity. And then I feel like these two are going to vote for Raj. And MK was on with that vote because she talks to Priya and Damien on how if we don't vote for Raj, they're just going to choose us in the final two. So I feel like they vote for Raj. So episode 12 is off the hook, and I think the only new characters here were Wayne and Damien. And I think MK could do her fear. And I think she would now win this challenge. So I think Damien and Priya are going to vote together. But MK never breaks her alliance with Wayne, so she's making an alliance with him, and she'll have to face a tiebreaker. So these two vote for Priya, and they would vote for Damien. Now the other two vote for Wayne. But Damien has his immunity idols, so because Jury's not here to steal at this time, so he gets rid of Wayne. So I think Wayne goes. And then MK, Priya, and Damien are in the finale, so that's pretty interesting. Priya wouldn't be able to win because she already won, so I assume the winner would be Damien. I think Damien winning the season would be satisfying. Priya and Caleb, obviously, they make up in the finale. You could just have them make up in the finale, like Trent and Gwen. Obviously, I think Caleb, it's to that same extent. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching this image. I think this is what we're on. If Julia got the main instead of MK season 1 and 2, yeah, peace, trouble.